Hi, I'm Doug Stanford, and I'm going to talk a bit about the SmallRig 1762 red baseplate and 1577 red top plate. These are for the Red, MX, and Dragon series cameras. I really like both of these pieces. For a number of years, I worked at a production house that shot on a red Scarlett-MX, and for a long time we just used the Manfrotto quick release plate, but through the course of threading and de-threading and just the size of that plate, and sometimes having one thumb screw, sometimes having two, it really wreaked a lot of havoc on the bottom mounting points on our red. So I bought this stuff as a part of my personal kit to have on hand for when I'm working with that production company, or when I'm maybe writing my own stuff or working with other companies where we're shooting on Scarlett or we're shooting on Epic MX or Epic Dragon. Everything pretty much up to the Epic Weapon uses this this form factor. So like pretty much all the other SmallRig stuff I have, these are just two real big thick pieces of metal that have a lot of mounting points on them and do their job really well. That's what I really like about them. There's minimal, pretty much no branding on these. They're just matte black, looks great, does its function well, and is gonna hold your camera up kind of pieces. The base plate comes with one 15mm rod mounting rail block up front, oriented upwards. The rods are at just the right height for a matte box. I use it with a Red Rock matte box and Red Rock follow focus. No issues with height of the rig to the lens, which is, up until getting this, it was kind of always a little bit of guesswork to get the mounting height just right on whatever sort of jerry-rigged plate we were using. And I added a second 15mm rail block to the back of mine, just so I could extend it out when I'm using a counterweight or when I'm using a battery system where I may not have a battery plate attached directly to the camera. So, also for shoulder rig mounting. So that's for that plate. The top plate is even simpler. It just mounts directly on top, has a hole for the heat vents, and does its job. I think the only complaint I have about this, which is a complaint I have about I think every top plate I've used with Red, is that when you're using the Red monitor, the 5-inch or the 7-inch, and you're mounting it on the top of the camera, which I do because I use an Adamus Shogun as my primary viewfinder, and then the other monitor I'll put on top for the director or for an AC. It's difficult to find a good place to mount a handle because I want to mount the handle oriented frontwards so that I can keep the weight of the lens and matte box evenly split over the camera body with the handle. But then you run into the monitor doesn't fit up front very easily. If you put the monitor in back, it's just kind of a pain. But I don't know that there is a good solution short of just not putting the monitor on top of the camera and using an articulating arm on the other side, or just using one monitor, also an option. So yeah, that's about it. The top plate mounts with 2 1/4-inch threaded screws and 2, I believe it's M8 threaded screws on the back here. It's solid. They both fit the MX body style perfect, and I highly recommend them, especially when you look at Wooden Camera makes amazing gear and a lot of things that are more specific, and also just their stuff is incredibly well built as well. But for something simple like a base plate for a camera, this is nuts at how solid these pieces are at the price you can get them at. My only other change was I added Manfrotto 3/8-inch thumb screws instead of the ones that come bundled with it, but I do that for pretty much everything I buy from SmallRig or otherwise. I just really like how robust Manfrotto thumb screws are. They don't strip away too easily on the bottom if you're not using a really well fitted screwdriver like the Film Tools slotted screwdrivers. So big recommend. I love these pieces. Thanks for watching. Find me on Vimeo at vimeo.com/Doug Stanford, on Facebook at facebook.com/Doug Stanford DP, and on Instagram at Doug Stanford. You can find all of my professional work and portfolio at dougstanford.com. Follow the channel for more videos like this.